Grid. Today, our objective is I can compare and contrast the point of view of two different survivor stories. So what we're going to do is we're going to compare and contrast the points of view of Brian and Marcos from the cold read that you did yesterday, and we're going to use Acer to compare their points of view. Now remember, the point of view of the character is how the character feels about it, or how the character views the story. Brian's point of view in Chapter 2 is that he needs to be self-sufficient and try to fix his situation, if you remember that from the other day. Now, we're going to model Acer, and you're going to help me write an Acer paragraph right now. So, the first step is A, answer the question. The first sentence of your response should be the answer to the question. Now, the question that I'm posing is, what is Brian's point of view in Chapter 2? I already gave it away, but it's going to be okay. So, right now, I want you to tell me what was Brian's point of view in Chapter 2. Great job. In Chapter 2 of Hatchet, Brian's point of view is that he needs to begin being self-sufficient. This means that Brian decides he needs to start helping himself. The second sentence of an Acer paragraph should always be citing evidence. You need to take a quote directly from the text, and it needs to go in quotation marks. These little things right here that I'm circling over and over and over again. Please make sure that you take a sentence or a part of a sentence exactly from the book and put it in quotation marks. I gave you some sentence starters. In chapter blank, on page blank, or simply the text states. So I'm going to give you a few quotes. I want you to pick the best quote that shows that Brian needs to be self-sufficient. Awesome. On page 15, the text states, he had to help himself. We could have also said, in chapter 2, the text states he had to help himself, or we could have just said, the text states he had to help himself. However, giving the exact page number is a way better citation. The third sentence of an Acer response should always be explain. This should be an explanation of why you chose your quote. This is where you say, this quote shows, blah, blah, blah. This quote reveals. You're showing the reader that your quote is not just some random piece of nonsense that you took out of the book. It's actually a piece of evidence that backs up your answer. So now, I'm going to need you to pick the best explanation for why we chose the quote from page 15. Cool. We chose the quote from page 15 because this quote reveals that Brian realized he needed to be self-sufficient and fix his own problems. Lastly, at the end of every Acer paragraph, you're going to restate your answer. This is where you use those words like thus, therefore, or in conclusion. Now, remember, we don't just write word for word what we wrote in our first sentence. We need to put it into different words. And we need to start with one of these sentence starters. Thus, therefore, in conclusion, so that the reader knows that we're ending a thought. So, please pick the best restatement now. Therefore, Brian's point of view in chapter 2 is that he needs to help himself. It's simple, it's to the point, and it ends your thought. Guys, that was super simple. You did a great job. All that writing an Acer response is. It's not this big, scary objective. It's just you putting these pieces together. Really great job. Let's get started reading.